So I'm gonna go ahead and start the meeting. It is a short meeting. We are gonna have two different things being added to it. One of them is I'll let you go through the agenda, Valerie, as the vice mayor, and then I'll add them, okay? Melly, for clarity, are they already there or not? They're not, correct? And sorry, but I'm a little jet lag right now.
No, but once we finish that, I have it added on a different page.
Thank you so much, Melly. And I see Luke there. So look, for a second there, I saw Meg. I got happy. Unfortunately, we're stuck with you, Luke. All right, perfect. All right, so I'd like to call this meeting to order tonight, December 4, Wednesday. This is virtual meeting of the mayor and council, and it's a legislative meeting. Roll call. Luke Chesick.
Here.
Valerie Woodall.
I'm here.
Danielle Carter.
Here.
All right, and Jared's gonna be either running a little bit behind or won't be able to attend. He did notify us of that. If he could make it, he'll make it. But again, although it's a voting meeting, we only have the minutes to vote on, so it's a very light meeting. All right, so Valerie, can you go ahead and proceed with the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you so much. Can you go ahead and review the agenda, Valerie, and then I'll add the stuff.
Yep. Okay. So the agenda of the legislative meeting of the Mayor and City Council, City of Mount Rainier, Wednesday, December 4th, 2024, 7 p.m. virtual meeting. 1, call to order, Pledge of Allegiance. We just did that. Number 2, review of the agenda, 5 minutes. The Mayor and Council will review the agenda for the meeting, adding and deleting topics of interest or discussion. 3, Mayor and Council member event announcements. 4, public comment. Please see page 3 of the agenda where rules for public comment are listed. If you wish to speak, please advise during the virtual meeting. New business, vote on approval of minutes, 5 minutes. The Mayor and Council will vote on approving the minutes for October 15th, 2024, work session, October 29th, 2024, legislative meeting. Number 6, presentation of minutes, 5 minutes. The city clerk will present the following minutes to the Mayor and City Council, November 19th, 2024 work session. And number 7, adjournment.
Valerie, can you do me a favor? Can you go to the bottom list of the events and just read them through so that way they're on top of the agenda?
Yes. Upcoming events, Recreation Committee Sweaty Sweater Fun Run is on December 7th, 2024 from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Starting at Mount Rainier Elementary School. Number 2, breakfast with and photo with Santa, December 14th, 2024, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Mount Rainier Nature Center. Holiday basket distribution, December 19th, 2024, 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Police Department Community Room. City Administrative Offices closing 2 hours early, December 24, 2024, in observance of Christmas Day. City Administrative Offices closed December 25th, 2024, Christmas Day. City Administrative Offices closing 2 hours early, December 31, in observance of New Year's Day. City Administrative Offices closed January 1st, 2025, New Year's Day.
Thank you so much. There are actually 2 days that are missing from there. Melly, what is the day for, it's going to be the Tuesday prior, right, that we're putting the baskets together? You have the day for the calendar, if people want to volunteer?
It's the 17th.
It's the 17th, and if you guys want to help the day of the basket distribution, come on over. We're there starting at 5:30 in the wonderful morning, and you need to be able to lift at least 50 pounds, happily. All right. So in doing that, I know our explorers, we have some of the Girl Scouts that have signed up for it, some of our common, some of the traditional members also volunteer have signed up. So thank you for that as well. And Melly will share how to call it. The link is all over the website. If you guys haven't signed up, deadline's coming up very soon to sign up for the basket. It's first come, first serve when you sign in. And when it comes to like picking them out the day of, it's very limited. All right, so that, and the other one that's not there is we already have the day. I talked to the chief from the fire department, and we already have the day selected for the Santa run. And it's a combination between the the Volunteer Fire Department of Rainier and the Rainier Police Department collaborating and taking Santa Cruz, and that'll be on the 21st of December. All right, information is already out through our social media links as well. So we'll go ahead and make sure that that's also being put out in the news blast that we're going to be sending out pretty soon as well. All right, thank you guys. I just want to make sure, since the agenda is short enough, that we cover all of those. All right, so the two items that are going to be added on, one is going to be Greenwill. We'll be presenting, all of us have gotten the emails, a collection of emails of different bills and information and updates. They are here tonight. Since our agenda is short, we did ask them, I did check with Mr. Kamali and the team to see if they could come in and join us so they could present to the community. Why it needs to be done this week? Because the county council has set up the day for the public hearing coming up, and it's going to be before our meeting. So we want to make sure that they give us a little bit of information on the bills, encourage our residents to go speak in support of the bills, as well as we're going to be speaking in support, but that we're on the same page. So is that the other one that I'm going to be adding to the agenda is an update. I have worked with Mr. Kamali. When it comes to the fire department, we have a couple of things we need to update you guys on, and wanted to make sure we put it there. So that way, you hear a little bit of the good news and everything that's been happening in the meantime, because there's a lot of work that's happened since our last update. So we wanted to make sure we took care of that before the end of the year. All right. So Melly's going to add those two items into the agenda, and it's going to be reports. There's no voting on any of them. So that way, at least we have that information moving forward. Okay. And we have, thank you, Melly. Okay, so we're going to move over to mayor and council events and announcements. Before I move on to that, there is going to be a special legislative meeting in top of our work session to make sure we have a vote on the final movement of funding when it comes to ARPA. And so be aware that that's going to happen. We've had 1,000 different ARPA discussions, and this will be the final vote to move the funding, whatever funding is left over, into Potts Hall. So Mr. Kamali needs to vote, and we had all equally heavily agreed in, I think maybe like the 30 plus meetings that we have talked about, that the voting had to take place. So want to make sure we have an official last vote on that. And that means it's going to be a one-item meeting basically on that. And it'll be right before our work session in order to make sure that we take the vote. Officially, the funding will be, moved to the category. So that way the team wraps up on the last remaining documents that they need to turn in before the deadline of the end of the year. And we follow through with everything that was needed. But other than that, so be aware to put in your calendars, because it'll be right before our work session, same day, so that we don't need to add an extra meeting if not need be. But I want to make sure that vote is officially taken. And I didn't want to put it in this meeting because they're still finalizing some of the stuff from the homeowners documents, right? The homeowners program. But by then, Mr. Kamali did assure me that they have a better feeling, they have a better sense that everything that they needed to put an amount and close will be done, so that we're able to, however, if something changes, we'll let you guys know, but we're trying to make sure we do not pull the staff into meetings during too many meetings during the holiday season, because we know they work really hard, and we do not want to throw an extra meeting for them. Okay, so put that in your calendar. So we're in this also to inform the community that meeting will be set. So we have about 2 weeks or so of notice for the meeting. All right. So, okay, moving forward to the next item, that will be mayor and council member events announcement for item number 3. And then we'll move on to the Greenwill annual preseason report presentation. And I do see Jonathan and Leslie both are here, so they'll be the one presenting tonight. Okay, all right, so Luke, I'm gonna open up with you, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. I've got 2 quick announcements I wanna just talk about. The Arts Commission has been just doing a really good job this year of engaging the community more in what they're doing. And a part of that is the sessions of engagement they're doing that are calling sort of artist social events. And they're having their next one, which is going to be a holiday artist social on December 11th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at station 3510, which is 3510 Rhode Island Avenue. And so I know they've given that information over to Pink as well. So just want to make sure the community is aware of that. Again, open to anyone to attend. And there's an RSVP link that'll be going out on the city calendar if you want to RSVP, so they can know how many people are showing up to that. Really encourage everyone to get to know the great work that the Arts Commission has been doing and is going to do this year. If you were able to tune into our last city council meeting, they were able to share their proposal for this year for putting up an art mural right around this location. And so really excited about their path forward there. The other announcement I want to make is many of you know that the Native Plant Network has been really successful in Mount Rainier. We've been able to get about 60 houses, I think, signed up as a part of the Native Plant Network. That means that they've got at least 10 native plants in their yard. It's usually a lot more than that. And so if you notice over the last couple of summers, there's often a little bit more butterflies or dragonflies in the neighborhood. And a lot of that is because of the great ecosystem that the native plant habitat in our town is able to support. A big partner with the Green Team on implementing that and keeping that going is the Prince George's County Audubon Society. So that's Kathy Showalter and Barry Stahl, who many of you know Kathy and Barry. They're very involved in the community. They're also very involved with the Prince George's County Audubon Society. And they were really fundamental at getting native plants in front of Joe's Movement Emporium, as well as the associated signs that come with those plants. And those signs were produced by a Mount Rainier artist, Tesla Thompson, who also is a member of the Arts Commission. And they're doing a fundraiser right now to help support Tesla's work in getting these types of signs all over, not just the Mount Rainier community, but the neighboring communities where they're helping push native habitat in our ecosystem here all around us. So I'm going to forward that information to Pink to make sure she's aware of that. But that information will be coming out on the city communications as well. But just want to make sure everybody's aware of that fundraiser. Really helps allow for people all around the community to understand the importance of native planting and bring some education to our efforts as a city and as residents here in Mount Rainier. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Luke, for your work on both. And it'll be exciting for people to go to the social hour because they'll get to see firsthand the building where the Art Commission is proposing the mural from the presentation. So it'll be a lot of hands-on. So it's great. Perfect. Valerie?
Thank you. Yeah, I think the main event that's coming up, the Recreation Committee has been busy at work. I think I've gotten 1,000 billion emails, but I think we're getting ready for the Sweaty Sweater Run. This is our second annual fun run for the city. There's a 5K and a 1 mile run. So it starts at 9 a.m. in front of Mount Rainier Elementary School. The routes are posted on the city's calendar and in their event information. So definitely plan to come out. There'll be hot cider, hot chocolate, and things like that going on as well. So definitely come out, and if you're not running, then step outside on the front porch and cheer everybody on. So thank you.
Running or walking, okay? Because some of us are very good at the walking part of it. A whole mile. So thank you, Valerie. It's pet friendly as well. Then thank you to our committee as well for putting that together. And it's definitely going to be sweater weather for sure on Saturday. So we'll be ready for that. Danielle, go ahead.
No announcements. Thank you.
All right, perfect. All right. All right, thank you. And Valerie, one thing, the PTO is having anything that I might have been forgotten to announce?
Yeah, they have their Winter Wonderland community event. I think it's on Friday, December 13th. And so that's an event that's PTO sponsored and led, but members of the community are welcome to attend as well. So I think they're still getting communications out about that. So, but we will be sure it gets to the city.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So at least we could start working with them on the calendar. I know we have been good partners with them before and vice versa. So it's great to see. Their event was one of the biggest events we have seen in December. They had so many people come out and so please support our PTOs from both schools and their events. and volunteer if possible, obviously, but also support them because it goes directly to our kids. And I know they stretch their funds as much as they possibly can. Me and Valerie are very good at attending the PTO meetings and making sure that people are present and they hear what's going on in the city and we hear what's going on with them to be good partners. All right, so about my events, I think that Valerie did a beautiful job of reading them in the bottom. If you want to volunteer, if you want to donate toys for our Santa photo with Santa, please go ahead and do so. I know some of the residents already dropped the toys at City Hall. So thank you for those that already dropped them off and the ones that need to drop off. We take all ages, just drop them off, brand new toys, and the kids get to decide. And if you guys will make a donation to City of Rainier, welcome to make a donation to City of Rainier. So I will tell you that this team has been very good at making sure that any donation that's given is like it's straight directly to the city. That's the reason why we want to make sure the city is the one that has those relationships, because as we continue to do our beautiful work, it makes sure to keep us out of trouble in making sure that the city is the direct link to any donations. So if you need information, you can reach out to any of us and we'll direct you to the city. Melissa's our clerk and our city manager is Mr. Kamali, so he could provide more information. And if not, could go to the website and you could and they'll direct you how to make a donation, how to go about it if you need to. But and other than that, thank you guys so much for your event announcements, so the work that you guys are doing. I know we're all extremely busy. For me, just a reminder to the team that on the 19th of December, the PGCMA Prince George's County Municipal Association is having the legislative meet and greet. The city of Rainier usually participates, so I know we're going to be there. So mark your calendars. Save the dates and stuff are going to be coming on the next 2 days in order for us to be able to participate. Right. Other than that, tomorrow, MML's having one of their symposiums. Usually, one of us goes, and I'll be there tomorrow. And talking about the impacts of municipalities, and also when it comes to the budgets, the priorities that Maryland Municipal League that we're part of has. One of them is the A&E tax, which allows the cities to be able to create a tax base no more than 3% at this point. And there's a bill that actually is moving forward with that. And the other priority for MML right now is the ability for staff that has been sworn in to be able to sign off the camera tickets, just like the red line tickets are done, in order to be able to free our officers to be out in the streets doing the other work and not just behind the desk. So we're also supporting those two legislations. So I know in January it's going to be the kickoff of the legislative season, and we'll be there. It is a lot of work. So right now I'm enjoying the little tiny bit of free time I have before legislation season kicks off. And that is usually a lot of time I spend in Annapolis, advocating for the city of Rainier when it comes to bills and funding, but also when it comes to going at the state and the federal level in order to make sure we connect. So with the National League of Cities, with MML and with PGCMA. So we have federal, local, and state lobbyists through organizations that we belong in our own also as a city. So we have people that advocate and are in front of the legislators, making sure our priorities are heard. So in saying that, that's basically my feedback. We had a very successful NSC visit. I was able to be in the panel representing the city of Rainier and the work that we do when it comes to the SS for All grants, as well as being able to talk to the program in order to figure out what the strengths and weaknesses are and how we're able to build a better program, and also work to create other programs to better help us. And when it comes to federal granting, be able to support that. So that's a lot of the other work that we do. And thank you to the city staff, because they're always, Mr. Kamali is always available when I have 1,000 questions for us to work and create documents in order for us to be able to present them, but also to better prepare me when I'm in panels. So thank you much for that as well. All right, so that is my list for that. And I'm going to move on to item number 4, the presentation discussion on Greenwill annual pre-session report. Greenwillton will have a presentation the upcoming 2023 legislative session. And we have Jonathan and Leslie with us. Jonathan, Leslie, is there another person I'm missing in the team that's here today or no?
It's just us.
All right, perfect. But they do have a very strong, solid team, and they're very much busy working in Annapolis through the summer, through preseason, through the season and post. All right, so I'll see you guys the floor to introduce yourself, and you let me know who's going first and who goes second. Go ahead.
I'll go ahead and start. Jonathan Carpenter. Thank you very much, Mayor and Council. I apologize. I had to step out of another event, but this was too important. I wanted to quickly go over the most important thing. The theme for the session is going to be the budget. I think we all know from some of the information out there that for the first time in probably 20 years, we're looking at a budget that is 2.7 billion estimate, the deficit. And we haven't seen that. And those that have been around, I can remember the times of furloughs and layoffs, state employees, and when I was a young public lobbyist for the labor. So it's a very serious budget. It's going to be, the deficit is definitely the theme. The drivers of the budget definitely is education is one of the big things, the blueprint, funding of the blueprint. A lot of the counties are, it's kind of funny. I said this at other meetings. When you have Prince George's County, Montgomery, Baltimore City, and Eastern Shore and Western Maryland all in the room saying this is a problem. So the legislature has to recognize it and redo the formula funding and all the things that are putting an unfunded mandate on our counties and affecting everyone's budget. So definitely education. Something we want to keep an eye on, which is very important in Maryland, which is the federal contracting dollars. We don't know. The new administration, Maryland is trying to get out in front of that. They have hired a company to help with whatever, moves will be made by the new administration in terms of funding, whether they're cuts, et cetera. They have hired a company by the name of Accenture to help with those preemptive moves so that Maryland is ready for whatever cuts come and how they will counter those cuts. So again, the federal dollars are so important to the state of Maryland. 10% of the private sector economy. About, I think it's the number is like 42 billion that we receive in terms of federal dollars in the private sector in terms of work. So it's very important to the state of Maryland. So that's going to be the driving force, education and the federal dollars. I'll turn it over to Leslie. We'll go over some of our pending legislation. And again, Mayor, as you said, we'll be working with MML, MACO, and other organizations and their priorities and helping to push those through.
Thank you, Jonathan, so much. And hello, Leslie, as well. Always a pleasure to have both of you. Go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. It's always a pleasure to present before you all and see you all virtually. I just want to give a few updates regarding legislation. Mayor Benitez mentioned it earlier, but there is a public hearing coming up on December 10th at 6 p.m. And it's a very important one, I will say, because it's the Prince George's House delegation. They'll be reviewing all of the bills that they will be considering for sponsorship next session. So this will be the one time you have until January to be able to speak on this bill and see if it even goes forward. So I do emphasize, if you have some time this week and the next, please take a look at the email I sent 2 weeks ago. It has a spreadsheet on there with the bills, a link to the bill, sponsors, and a summary of it. And if you need me to resend it, I'm happy to send it directly via email. But I think it's important to just take a look at it so you know what bills you want us to monitor moving forward. And two that I wanted to note today are, first, the Gateway Authority bill. As you all know, this is a bill we've worked on for the last 2 years, and it's being reintroduced one more time. This time, they're looking to change the sunset that's currently set on it. The authority was supposed to be dissolved by 2028, but now this would look to have no deadline, so it would be moving on for a longer term, which is a good thing. As you all know, this is a possible source of funding for the city. You have 2 seats on the board, so something for us to monitor. And if you want to testify, let us know, because the deadline to sign up is December 6th. Another bill is the work zone, WSSC work zones cameras bill. This is looking to allow the WSSC Police Department to be able to put cameras and give citations in certain highways for work zone violations. So we know that the traffic safety is very important in Mount Rainier. So that's why we want to continue to monitor any bills regarding that. But if there is another bill you saw or you want to discuss one of these bills at the end of the presentation, I'm happy to answer any questions on that. In the agenda packet, I also included a quick list of relevant bills that became effective October 1st, just something for you all to refer to when you have some time. Moving on to the next agenda item, I just wanted to refer you to the third and fourth page of the agenda packet. It has some important deadlines regarding the upcoming session. You'll be able to see when the governor will be releasing his budget, when the bill deadlines are. And so that's just something to look at and reference. We will keep sending you those updates throughout every week during the session. So you don't have to worry about memorizing them. Just again, something for you all to refer to. But I will stop there and see if Jonathan has anything else to add.
I do like to emphasize when we send that calendar of the important dates, that's something I think you should keep over your desk or handy because it gives you like a roadmap of the session. You want to know things like when are the bills due, when is the cross file date, when is the budget has to be approved. So those type of things are important, and it gives you a roadmap, right, Mayor? So you'll know what's going on. I also want to emphasize that, you know, they see me, Leslie and I every day, but your activism as a council and mayor and working with Mr. Kamali are the things that make a difference. So I encourage each one of you to continue to reach out to Leslie and I, and we will do our best to get you any meetings you want with legislators and just be there and be active. It makes a difference. But that's something that Mount Rainier does very well. And we're proud to be your partner in Annapolis.
Thank you guys both. I'm going to open up the floor. And just to clarify a little bit, I know that Jonathan and Leslie said they'll get any meeting we want, just to be sure that the point person to the council is me and Mr. Kamali. We do have some of the meetings that we put together, right? And that's how it goes about. So please make sure that we're organized on that because we're not going to have 5 different people going to our legislators. It's one person and we're on it. The other reason why it's good for you guys to know the calendar is because I tried to tell you guys that in my life, I basically, you know, and the team could tell them that when they need me, I'm basically, my schedule's like worked around whatever time they need. And some of those hearings, I have to wait 6 hours to be heard. And mind you that a lot of the times they're very accommodating and trying to make sure that, you know, elected officials, we go on first, but the list of bills last year, it was a very high number of bills. It was like one of the highest amount of bills. So some of the things that we do is like our team reviews them, I work with them, and then we figure out what's important also for the city. And it's a lot of work. But in saying that, we couldn't do this. There's no way I could do this on my own or Mr. Kamali could do this on their own because it's a lot of things that change. I mean, sometimes between you having the bill in your hand and them coming to the meeting, there's about 7 things that have changed, and that may be a difference between supporting or breaking the bill or saying we support with this amendment, so here is. And also at the same time trying to coordinate, you know, the city stand, PGCMA stand, MML stand, and where we're at and how we're pushing to coordinate. But we're working in collaboration because the city of Rainier is just one of 27 when it comes to PGCMA, but when it comes to like MML, we're one of 157. And that's very strong. So if we're pushing, if all of our, you know, teams are pushing towards the same, you know, effort, right? It does help to bring extra strength. So it's not like Mount Rainier on its own standing, but it's Mount Rainier other people. When it comes to the gateway build, Leslie and Jonathan, we're gonna work on a letter to send out so that way they know we stringly. I mean, we have been in the front form from like initiating the creation of the organization, the build, and everything else, testifying every bit of the way. Year 1 was creation, year 2 was funding. Now we're in the phase of like putting the meat to the bones of this organization. So it's essential for us to be able to have more time and for that to continue happening. So as we continue collaborating on that one, it's an effort. It's also, 5 other cities with us will be 6, right, Leslie? Jonathan, so that's how many cities we were able to bring funds, and I'm happy to say the city of Rainier was like in the front led to make that that happen. And we thank Senator Augustine for listening and working and pushing and advocating in every step of the way when it came to the bill to make it happen. But the sunset is something that we need to remove because it takes a lot of work. It's creating an organization from the ground up, and we have an outstanding team doing it. Collectively, it's a separate organization that is not. We're part of it, as members, but we are not, and it's not our organization only, it's like a collective organization putting together. So once more information on that comes around, you guys have gotten copies of those bills for the last 2 years. So you guys should be aware what that bill is. If you guys need to see more of that bill, we'll send it up again. But again, there's a lot of things that are being done. A lot of nitty gritty, dotting I's, crossing T's, that work that we have to do behind the doors in order to make sure that things happen. So I think that for everybody that's hearing us, we have been very successful advocating both for funding, but also for legislation and bills, because we have done so much work. When it comes to, Mr. Kamali and every one of the departments, money doesn't just land on our lap. We have to go heavily afterwards with documents, testifying and working in order to happen. So there's a lot of things going on, and we've been very successful because we have been hands-on and making sure we're collaborating and being upfront with what I said that I want to do, and showing them the vision and delivering on the things that we have promised, and that creates this whole team. So I'm going to open it to council if you guys have any questions. Jonathan, thank you also for popping in and popping out. I know it's you're hands-on and you need to be in all those rooms. Leslie as well, then this is the reason why we've been as successful as we are with our team. All right, so Valerie, I'm going to let you go first. Do you have any questions for them? Or anything?
Yeah, thank you for your presentation. I think it's great to have you both as our eyes and ears in the halls of Annapolis. I think that's important. I guess my only, I do understand the budget is going to be tight this year. I guess my only questions and thoughts about that is that we have like capital projects in the city of Mount Rainier that really need to go forward. And so I want to, just hear what your thoughts are. Are legislators looking at capital projects that they've supported before as a priority for them to continue to fund? Is that something that we can push for? And I guess that's my only question for now. Thank you.
So I'll just take a quick thank you, Councilwoman. We have been having conversations with Senator Augustine and some others. Again, with his position in leadership, it can be instrumental in helping to try to provide getting some of that funding. It's been said to legislators that anything with a fiscal note, forget it. So just to put it out there, this deficit thing is something that over their sessions, over the years, putting band-aids on a problem, I think finally has come into fruition that they've got to make serious decisions this year. But certainly we will be fighting to get every bit of funding we can.
So to follow up with that question, Valerie, remember how we do the legislative priorities like before the end of the fiscal year ends? So last year we did them. So the minute we get them done, we provide them to Greenwill, so they start working on them. So that's part we're doing. So if you're talking about Pass Hall as an example, yeah, they're fully aware of what the priorities were discussed, where we're at as a city, and that's the reason why the wonderful idea of Luke to organize us a couple, 7 years ago, Luke? I consulted and I decided to move it to June. So that way our team had the whole entire summer to work on. And also the end of the legislative season, as well as the whole summer as they're coming in. So that way we gave them more of a leadway. So they're fully aware of that we are asking for funds to our legislators and what the projects are for. Although it's going to be a challenge, we definitely need to ask, and figure out what it's going to look like. So they deal with asking for funding, and also make sure that certain legislations that are needed for our city are also there. And also when it comes to us, for the gateways, we basically submitted a proposal and we worked on it, and that's how the legislation got formed. So that's one of the things that we did as a city. And like I said, it really helped. It's really going to be helping 6 different cities on it. So it's a 3-tier thing that they do when it comes to funding, advocating for us, making sure that we either propose bills that could help the city, but also advocating and helping us take a stand when it comes to the city pro, against, and helping us testify, letters and all that. So in that sense, they're very, that's the reason why they spend so much time in Annapolis. And that's usually where I'm actually going to Annapolis tomorrow. So I'm going to take a quick stop by. But yeah, did that answer your question, Valerie?
Yeah, it did. Thank you. I just want to make sure that we're prioritizing projects that they've, funded before.
Yeah.
Big thing for me.
Thank you so much. Danielle and then Luke, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for coming and presenting tonight. I'm looking forward to watching this legislative session, and there's some things that I'm watching as a part of EMOD. I think you guys are aware of those things. My question, actually, Valerie covered it, so my question for local has been answered. But thank you guys so much for coming tonight. I appreciate it.
Okay, Luke, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, thank you for all the work that you both do. I think it's clear the situation that we're in. I think my ask is more for Mr. Kamali to just stay in touch with Greenwill and see how this could affect any potential projects that we need funding for. And, you know, once we get into the new year, let's have sort of a plan of action for any funding that we need left for Potts Hall is what I'm thinking of as the main one. And so we can make any adjustments that are needed before the budget closes out so that we can make this a priority in the budget and move things around if we need to. And so that's just my only advice from Mr. Kamali. I'm sure he will do that. But being able to have an understanding of what are our potential approaches and how we could help resolve any potential issues in this year's budget, as opposed to kicking the can down the road like seems the state has done. Let's not be like the state. So, thanks.
So yeah, so they're in constant communication with Greenwill, and that conversation is starting to happen. Luke, when it comes to proposal of a plan of like if we get, you know, option A, B, or C, right? And right now they're in the process that we're in the process, mainly like the team, right? In writing a one-sheet cover letter that showcases, you know, how much money we have put forward, how much money we're also going to be adding when it comes to the remaining of ARPA into Potts Hall. So it showcases how much the city has put forward when it comes to this project, what is needed, and what the state has provided as well. And also for Mr. Kamali said he's looking into what is going to be the note when it comes. He's already working on that. The note when it comes to like how much is remaining to close it and what the plan is going to be moving forward. So all that is in the works. So you're right on line with saying that that is already being looked at in. But yeah, trust me, they talk a lot. They talk more than I talk to them. Okay. All right. But I think that's a good way to put it. And look, we might have to pull you in to like help with some of the stuff as well, because I know that's like your very strong area of expertise. So be ready to be pulled over to help with some of the construction and vision of that to help us out. Okay. So that's your fair warning, Luke.
Yeah, got it. Thank you, Mayor.
And perfect. And for the council, you know, marking your calendars around May, June. That's when we'll start working on our priorities. So have them ready in order to make sure we have this conversation, because the sooner we can have it, the better it is for our lobbyists to and consultants to be able to go out there and start working in our behalf. So that definitely help them, because they've been working and talking and everything else before it starts. We do not wait around longer. And that's definitely important. For the December PGCMA is going to have like the collective 27 priorities from the meeting. So that's something that we're going to put forward in. And there's a survey that is being created. I'm going to consult with Greenwill to figure out what is it that we want to put in as Rainier's priorities for the big organization, in order to move forward with that and try to see if we could gather some support. But I did flag the Gateway Sunset on it for PGCMA, let them know that we're going to need it. So if they could like, and as president, I could write the letter, but I definitely need a support from the collective for Prince George's County Municipal Association. So we're working in a couple of tiers to make sure we also get support from the things the city and the county are needed, because it's definitely a project that's helping the whole entire county. All right, so I have no questions for you guys. I work very, very close. I know there's a couple things coming up, and I know January is when we officially kick off everything. But thank you guys for all the work that you guys do. And we'll work on those letters to start putting it out there officially. The support on behalf of the city for especially the Gateway Sunset before the hearing. And I will also be signing up to make sure that we're there. Usually, you know, we're there and we have a say on it, and our legislators know how we feel. Our legislators definitely know how we feel because we've already been talking to them and they're fully aware where we're at. We want to definitely thank Senator Augustine, Delegate Fennell, Delegate Julian Ivy, right? All three of them, Delegate Denny Tavares as well. They are very, our 47th district is very responsive, very approachable, and we definitely have been able to get a hold and move forward with the things that we need. So you guys, I appreciate you guys. I'm going to let you guys know. I know, Jonathan, you have to like pop back in the event, continue representing us. Leslie as well. You have a lot of work to do with the other projects that we're working on. So have a wonderful night. And thank you guys so much. Okay. Bye. I'll see you guys soon. All right, perfect. Item number 5, update discussion. I'm already a volunteer fire department. This is going to be a combination between myself and the city manager, Mr. Karush Kamali. And we'll provide a quick update as we're wrapping up the year, because I'm trying to make this next few meetings as lively as we can. So as you guys recalled, a couple of months back, the council decided to ask Mr. Kamali to make sure he had a sit down, talk through, and follow up with our fire department when it comes to things that they're needed, the support and help that we could provide as a city, and so on and so on and so on. You guys were at the meeting, so I need to repeat this, right? But also when it came to the new budget cycle, as far as one of the departments that is there, make sure they provide the schedule and everything that goes on. So on my end, I know Mr. Kamali and Councilmember Woodall have joined me, and I've invited them to join me in meetings with Chief Green, who is the fire department chief for the county. And I was able to arrange meeting with not just the city of Rainier, but also the various cities that represent Bunker Hill. We have been having these meetings for quite a few months now in order to make sure we get information data and let her know and her whole entire team where we're at when it comes to the career fire department. From the moment we were notified that the career fire departments were going to be pulled from Bunker Hill, we have been in talks with them and making sure they know at all times where we stood. Not only we understood the situation, but also that we wanted to make sure that our career firefighters were to return, that our volunteer fire department was also supported in making sure there was checks in with them to make sure that we're also not burned out. And we also are very thankful of the various fire departments who have stepped up to also helped us. So it's been quite a few conversations back and forward, right, on where we're at. I definitely want to take this time also to, share our condolences, and I've done this directly to Mayor Tremillo Lopez for the passing of a resident due to a fire a few months back. They have asked to please not politicize the event, and we have been very respectful not to do that and not to step on, to be respectful of the family and the city as well, because I know for a fact, has it been my city, I wouldn't want people to put in their 2 cents to in my city as well, right? But I'll say to you that they are, grieving. They are a very tight, close community like we are. So we have also said any support they needed from us to let us know, right? And we'll go ahead and continue working together. So in doing that, we have a very strong communication with the volunteer fire chief, Chief Jason Fisher, who we invited. I personally have invited him to at least 2 meetings to join us, and I made him aware he was his department was on the agenda to make sure he was here. And Mr. Kamali, before I continue, Mr. Kamali is going to give you a bit of information on how we have been working with the volunteer fire department in the past few months, because some work has been done and it continues to be done, and where we're at with that as well. And again, this is something that as the council, we did ask Mr. Kamali to follow through, and Mr. Kamali could tell you where we're at, and I'm happy to also say that they've been very responsive and following through with the fire department, volunteer fire department. Mr. Kamali, I'm going to see you the floor, and then I'm going to continue. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'm sorry that I cannot turn on my camera. I don't know what's wrong with it, but I appreciate your time. Well, as you and council advised me to work with Chief Jason Fisher, our Mount Rainier volunteer fire department. We've been in close communication with Chief Jason Fisher, and also I have advised our city grant writer, Bill Bystricky, to work with Jason and research, various grants that we can find and in support of the fire department. So in August, Bill found an application and we applied for it. Unfortunately, and we were working with Jason and got the information that what they need. They were looking for a truck to get out of that grant, but unfortunately we were denied. Right now, we are working with Chief again, and we have an application that is pending right now. This is an application from FEMA. There is a grant available for buying another truck, and we're going to send the application at the end of this month, and we're asking for $80,000. And we got the information, all the necessary information from Chief, and he's been in the close communication with our grant writer. And hopefully, if we succeeded, we can get $80,000 from this grant to purchase a pickup truck for volunteer fire department that they can utilize it for their various, transportation needs. And also, I have shared budget calendar with Chief Jason Fisher, and I've told him to, to send us his proposed budget for FY26 and see how much the city and mayor and council can, help and support our fire department, volunteer fire department. As you said, you and I have been attending, various meetings with the county chief, and hopefully, we get our crew back soon, and we are in, full support, and we do as much as we can. So, and Chief and his team are very happy that we have a very close communication with them. So hopefully, I am very positive about this one, the FEMA grant, which is $80,000, and hopefully we're going to get succeeded. So right now, we're just, putting the information together, and we're going to send it at the end of this month, and we'll wait, and then I will, keep you guys posted. And that's
Thank
all I
you.
got for you. And if anybody has any question, I'll be glad to answer.
Before you go on, I have definitely other updates. Valerie, is there anything else from the meetings that you attended that you want to add to this as well?
No, I think you've covered it. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So I just want to thank, I know that in the various meetings, all of the council members collectively have expressed, their support, and working through the process. I think to clarify a bit of the process, how it works, if you guys have been following our budget information, the way it basically works is like mayor and council, the city manager proposed a calendar to the council. We take it to a work session, we review it, and finally we approve it. Our budget kind of has been approved. Our city manager sends it to the various departments for the city, definitely the various groups for the city, right? Like, the various commissions. And also he sends it out to the fire department. The way the process works, because I guess there was a bit of a question because there was a little bit of misinformation on it, but the way it works is like all the departments and the personnel speak to the city manager and submit what they are requesting. The city manager works the numbers to figure out what it looks like. He works on putting a budget together, and then he submits the budget. He presents the mayor and council for a budget. At the end of the day, we need to do a couple things. One, we need to make sure that a budget balances out, because even if somebody asks for, $1 million, but the city cannot afford $1 million, the city manager definitely sees as much as he's able to propose for the city. And then the council is able to add decrease, cut, or whatever is needed based on what it looks like. But at the end of the day, we also realize that the budget needs to balance, and we have been very good. The reason why our audits are up to date and going forward, has been because not only we have all the paperwork, like other councils have, but every single year, at least prior, even the last 8 years that Luke and I have been around, every single council makes sure that at the end of the budget vote, that budget was balanced. So I definitely want to make sure that that's something that is clear. We have not increased taxes for the city. As a matter of fact, when Luke and I started, where was it 95 cents, Luke? Per 100 square footage. And right before we started, the council prior to that reduced actually, I believe, 2 cents. So it was 97. And then the year that me and Luke started, we started also reducing. So it was a trend that's been reducing taxes or keeping them where we could be at since 2016. So it's almost getting to the 9th year that taxes have been either reduced or the last year maintained. But definitely right now they're at, Mr. Kamali, you know the exact number? Is it a 50, 55, 52? What is it?
I'm sorry, what number?
What is the tax base right now for residential for 100 square footage?
It's 0.96.
No,
No,
for
it's like
residents, it's
0.76, 0.76, I'm sorry.
0.76. Thank you, Luke.
6. It was
0.7.
0.79. Every year we've been reducing it and we've been bringing
Yeah.
that tax down. But this year I'm not gonna have Luke to do that, please. Because we need more money. We need more money to finish the pothole project.
But
And
I
if you
think that
want me to help the fire department, please, I'm sorry. I need to have some more money. So
I would say
sorry.
to you guys that we've done, I'm pretty sure residents are nowhere near is saying like, let's add more tax, let's increase our taxes we're paying here. But I'll say this to you, like, so we have, we are aware that, you know, the biggest bulk of our budget, it is our staff. We do have a working staff, you know, that's able to carry everything you do. But at the same time, our tax base is heavily our homeowner tax base, and the city has gone heavily, aggressively, and very poignant to when it comes to grants. And that's the reason we've been able to do so much work for the city, but prices continue to go up. When it comes to even a simple project, like sometimes like, you know, a bid is on and then we secure it once we go through the whole entire process because it continues to go up, which means that be conscious that the council, trust me, we want to do, there's 1,000 things we want to do. 1,000 things. And Luke is very good at dreaming, right, Luke? Valerie, Jared, all of us, right? But we sometimes have to put our feet in the line and be like, what can we do with the money that we have? And if it means like we're moving money somewhere else, what are we cutting off? And it becomes very hard. But we definitely want to thank the city manager and his whole SoInstar staff for giving us, like last year was one of the most complete budgets that we received, which allowed for us to be able to approve it like in basically record time. So in saying all of that, I will end with saying that the meetings with Chief Green have been very successful, right? A lot of communication and definitely like stating like, you know, where we're at, you know, and not only that, we also now have direct communication also with the volunteer fire chief, right? That's underneath Chief Green. So if any questions I have, I usually like reach out to, you know, Chief Jason Fisher. Also, I reach out to the chief in charge of the volunteers at the county level in order for them to be able to work with us, whatever information we need. So I'm saying all this to say the city of Rainier, we are heavily connected with them. They know where our stand is as a city. We know that we want to make sure we bring our career firefighters back. The city has also, for the last maybe 2 years, Melly, correct me if I'm wrong, if it's more time than that, has also posted an ad on the newsletter asking for people to volunteer with the Rainier Fire Department. So our work goes on for many years as well in order to make sure that we continue working with that. Saying that, in the last meeting that we had with Chief Green, she has told us there is on the next meeting, she's going to try to aim at a better day for our career firefighters to come back. We're having at least 6 of them, which was the same number than before, come back, a combination between new and recruits. And we're expecting that early next year. So by January, we should be able to have our fire careers back. Again, I want to thank Mr. Kamali, Valerie, and the work that we do collectively in order to make sure it is very, it's a lot of hard work, you know, to try to be able to collaborate with other municipalities, not just in our Bunker Hill Fire Station, but also the other 2 fire stations, and making sure we are sending the same message that we want them back and figure out what way we could support. We have, when the budget for Prince George's County comes around, I'm going to be testifying in support for more funding. And also, if there's any problem with somebody that has requested to be able to go through the career firefighters, and there's a problem. I've also expressed this to Chief Jason Fisher. Chief Green, Prince County Fire Chief Green has let me know that I could just send the name, provide the information to them, so that way they could work through and figure out if there's a problem with somebody that's trying to work through the system to get hired, in order to figure out what way we could support or be able to get the information to figure out what's going on, in order to be able to have better communication support. But at all times, I'll tell you that they have been very supportive, very responsive. When we've had a question, they've been able to answer. And the city manager, as being the person that's run the city, is very aware of what's going on, obviously. But also for the holidays that we have, they usually bring extra personnel closer, if not to the area, to make sure that we have. So there's a letter that went out, and people assume that that was the final letter. It was just informing people that they're going to have an extra ambulance nearby. But saying that, we're looking forward to having and welcoming back some of the career staff that's going to come back in January, as well as the new career firefighters that'll be joining the fire crew. I've already expressed my willingness to join them for a meeting, in order to make sure, I'll wrap this one, Amelie, in order to make sure that our community gets to know who they are, and potentially highlighting them through our social media as well. So that way they're a little bit more connected with our community as well. And I know we went through this effort when it came to our police department, so we want to make sure we also support them in that sense, to highlight their work. Okay, so that is my report back when it comes to the fire department. And we'll continue meeting with them and making sure they know that we're going to continue advocating, and we're looking forward to having them back in January. And in the meantime, for the holidays, they have a secure safety plan in order to make sure that, as much as possible, we're definitely covered. And if anything else is needed, they'll make sure they also support us. Okay. All right. So that is basically the report back. And time is up. Do you guys have a comment? I could also request to add more time. If not, we'll move on to the next item.
I'd like to propose that we add 5 more minutes to the agenda, to this line item, please.
Okay, 5 more minutes will be added. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you so much for your discussion. Objection, extension, here none. Go ahead. So Valerie, well, I'm going to go with Luke because you were part of those meetings, Valerie. I'm sorry. Okay, Luke, go ahead.
I have nothing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Danielle, go ahead.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Kamali, thank you so much for looking into those grants for the volunteer fire department. I really appreciate it, and I hope FEMA will pay off for us. I'm actually looking at challenging the state and national boards to get back on the unit to come out of retirement. So this whole thing has hit home. As a former PG volunteer myself, I went to the county council a couple weeks ago and testified. I've written a lot of emails, a lot of letters. I've spoken to a lot of people, and it's the efforts that Selena and Valerie and you have put together, along with myself and many of our residents and the local communities. I think that has really put the pressure on to get these staff back as fast as they're coming back, because it was looking pretty bleak back in October. I do want to say that Brentwood suffered 2 deaths as a result of the layoffs, and I definitely want to make sure that the other person, that the other is not acknowledged as well, especially since they are from a volunteer and career fire family in Brentwood here on 34th Street. So again, as a former and potentially future first responder, again, Mr. Kamali, I can't thank you enough for doing that, and even going through and working with them, reaching out to them, putting their feet to the fire to get a budget request into you to make sure that we can get them in the Mount Rainier budget line item to help them further and build their base. So thank you again very much.
Valerie? You good?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
And just, I know when we started talking with the chief in July about this, we held firm in October on the next meetings to make sure that we were getting career staff back. So I think that's great. And so Selena and Mr. Kamali, thank you for your leadership, and Danielle for writing all the emails and council and speaking in front of council. I think that's important too. So yeah, it's a team effort. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Valerie. And just to make clear on something, when I said we send the condolences to the mayor, I didn't exclude it was only one person. I said I send the condolences, period, for the person. So I just think that at this point, I'm trying to be respectful of what they've asked of me, right? The other thing is like to clarify that in all the meetings that we have attended, there has not been a pushback from Chief Green saying, no, we do not want the career firefighters there. In every way they have said, like, we want them back. We're just trying to find ways to put them back, right? So I just want to make sure that that's clear. I think that the emails from the community, everybody else does help, but I just want to make sure that I want to be honest in saying that, at least from Chief Green, we got nothing but like trying to find ways to be able to work with the union, making sure that they're listening to career firefighters saying, hey, like, we're burned out, and the mandatory hose up are definitely not helping. It's creating a lot of incidents, and it could end up in a tragedy for a career firefighter that are being held 12, 18, and so on hours over their shift. So imagine going to work one day and then being told like you're great to clock out, and you're told sorry, you need to stay an extra 12 hours. Here and there maybe, but when it was happening so often, it also became a danger to the fire, to career firefighters. And I think we're all very linked, either through family members that are, firefighters, but also like, first responders, that the last thing we need is for those that want to help us having to like run out, to help us, right? And be put in a situation where they're putting themselves in danger or their family. So it's a lot tough decision. Unfortunately, a lot of people are retiring, and I think COVID had a lot to do with it. It hit a lot of people severely in every single field, right? When it came to everything they saw and the work they had to do. So some of them said, you know what? I'm basically done after this. So that even as fast as they're trying to hire, it becomes a challenge basically on how many people are retiring. So if the retiring numbers were to stop, right? So say like even like what they're projecting, even with a big cushion, it's still even more people retiring than that. So they're trying, as they're fulfilling the positions that they need to be fulfilled to miss, to get to the number we need to do. The fact that so many people are retiring, they also have to like fulfill the backlog and the log that's coming across. So they're doing a lot of effort, but definitely I was glad to hear that they listened to the career firefighters saying, hey, we need help and this cannot continue going on. So at least that has helped in a sense when it comes to making sure that the mandatory holdouts are no longer the case. And I'm hoping with the new recruits, there's at least one class that's just wrapping up, and the 2 more classes that will be wrapping up very soon, right? They'll be able to fulfill the other ones. So we are going to get one of the first rounds of people that are on it. So I just want to make sure that is clear, because I think it's been a very cooperative, at least that's the way I felt it. How do you feel, Mr. Kamali? Same? At least when we talked and we have made our points, they have made every effort to try to get us back and figure out a way to do it. So it wasn't been like, no, we don't want that.
Exactly, Mayor. And I just want to mention something that, Mayor, that has been a main priority for you. Anytime you talk to me, you were asking me whether I have talked to Jason Fisher or not. And I think that was, an issue for you. And hopefully with this, female application, we can do something for our volunteer firefighters. So hopefully, I'm just keeping my fingers crossed. But I appreciate council, and I appreciate you and everyone and the team. The team is, been very helpful. And hopefully we get something and we resolve that issue too, hopefully.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Kamali, for your work as well. All right, thank you guys so much. So we're going to move on to the next item, that is public comment. I will read the script, and that will give enough time for people that potentially are here for, I don't see nobody except for, unless Valerie has 2 different ones. So I will open the floor I say the mayor and city council invite and welcome comments of the public. The mayor or presiding officer will recognize you. Please introduce yourself first and last name for recording purposes and give the name of your street and block number. IG 4300 block of 34th Street. Please indicate in the chat whether you would like the mayor to read your comment or you will speak on your comment. Public comment has a time limit of 3 minutes per speaker unless otherwise agreed upon by the mayor. While speaking, please maintain a courteous tone and avoid personal attacks. If you wish to lodge a complaint about the performance or conduct of any city employee, please bring it to the concerned attention of our city manager, Mr. Kamali, who will look into the matter and respond to you. As a courtesy to other residents and businesses, the council requests the speaker not use specific addresses or names of individual when describing a situation or making a complaint, noting that block is preferred over a specific address. So if you are here to speak on public comment, write your name, last name, block, and street number, and I will call upon you, and your Facebook will go ahead and read your comments. Okay? All right, so can you go ahead and put it up, Melly? Or you can leave it there, so that way any question, they could just read it. All right, perfect. So I have, I would like to come, but I have my hand raised. Valerie Zelinsky, 400 block of 31st Street. Go ahead, the floor is yours.
Thanks very much. I appreciate this discussion that we're all having. I'm commenting about the fire situation, 4100 block of 31st Street. But my block has had a number of very serious fires in the time that I have lived here, and I'm relatively new. Low taxes are great, but not at the expense of the people that are living here and at our fire and EMS. And what I'm finding is I was out at the county council meeting. This gap has been a problem in the county for more than 2 years. And considering that this is the state where the National Fire Academy is, I find that shameful. I don't know why there's so little support for the fire department or why there has been. I can tell you that as a community member, I had no idea about all of these meetings and communications. Chief Green had said at the meeting, I spoke with her directly. She said she wanted to know about community input. And I don't feel that as a community member, I had the opportunity to provide that before that. I'm not sure still why we didn't go in with or emulate Greenbelt, College Park, and Berwyn Heights when they filed the lawsuit for the injunction. I will tell you what I as a citizen have done, though, because I have been working very hard on this. I've researched the calls using the data that I was able to get. I have interviewed firefighters. I have spoken at the county council meeting and submitted documentation for the record. I've written emails and letters. I called Darcy Spencer on the news. I have been sharing and screaming about this on social media. And I'm actually talking to Chief Green also because she came up to me and followed up with an email that wanted to pursue some of the ideas that I had raised actually in the county council meeting. And community input was number one on her list. And while I'm really glad that you've been having all these meetings and communication, I only knew of the very first one, and I didn't know anything about the others or what you might want to hear from we, the community. And lastly, I'll just say, these are not just empty words. I'm not just, blathering on and complaining. I threw in and I'm trying to do something to help. I volunteered at Station 55, and I am going through my background checks now. Thanks for the opportunity to comment.
Okay, thank you. I think that Chief Green has given her information and her number. She said to be reach out directly. If you have any concerns of our department, I will say put it in social media for the Facebook group. Does not much. You need to send us an email directly. And Valerie, if you have collected data and you want to share it, please feel free to share it with the collective because I have yet not seen it. So I'm not even sure when it comes to the meetings, right? We were respectful enough that the chief was going to go to the county council and speak and people were going to go there. When it comes to Greenville owns their building. Our building in Bunker Hill does not belong to also Greenville owns the equipment that is also a part of the building. And at least for Rainier, the city of Rainier does not own the equipment or the building. It is a county building. So it's very different for us than it is. But I'll tell you that every single mayor that represents the Bunker Hill Fire Department, all 5 of us have been speaking with Chief Green, and we have made our points very clear. We have also received some communication from residents, so we have also shared that communication with her when it comes to the concerns. I was actually in the and actually some of my social media, so it's not like I was hiding this information. I was also I also did a 1-day training program with the fire department. Also as well, so I did talk to not only the union but also firemen that were there that trained us for the day. And this is not my first time I go for training. I've gone to training a couple of times. So I will say to you, if you have that information, please send it out to our city manager, because Mr. Kamali, have you received that data of information or no? Okay, send it out to our city manager so that way he could pass it along, or that way we could get a sense of what that information is. But like we have said in every meeting, the public comment is always open. So if somebody wanted to come in and talk about the fire department, or to ask us to add it to the agenda, it's also been there for us to do it, right? But we heard the concerns from the community, and I did what we usually do. It's like we reach out to the specific person and start working and advocating for what the city and the residents need it, right? And the cities, all of us, every single one of us, have said that one of the fire department back. And our mandate was basically make sure we reach out, we talk, and figure out what ways the city needed to do something. So we've had at least 2 meetings in the last year when the fire department has come to us. And we have also spreads that we have good communications with them. So usually after even my meetings with Chief Green, I do talk to Chief Fisher to fill them in about that communication. And, we go back and forth with information. But I would say to you that the best ways to reach us, to communicate if you have a concern, will be, through our council emails. And then that goes for any concern that you might have. And the other thing I will ask for the future, we have asked, part of the prompt that we read is that we do not utilize people's names. So I know that I let it go, but in the future I do ask that you could use the title, but please don't use the name when it comes to on it. And like I said it before, we've been having those meetings and advocating, being public about it. And I will say to you, you have elected officials. So if you're in Ward 2, please reach out to Valerie, Jared, or myself, right? When it comes to you have any concerns about where we're at with it, have you reached out to any of them? They should be able to provide the information on what we're doing in order to make sure that our voice is heard also when it comes to the city. Unfortunately, Greenwill and Berwyn Heights, they put an emergency injunction for their firehouses. Like I said, their situation is different than ours, and it failed in the court. So they were not able to stop the emergency stoppage of removing their fire careers. And like I said, with us, it's a little bit different because we don't own the firehouse. They do. The building itself and the fire equipment, everything that's in there basically belongs to the city of Greenwill or Berwyn Heights, the sites. But in saying that, we'll continue working. And I know Mr. Kamali has review whether or not we need to take any legal aspect of it. And I think that at this point we're getting the answers that we want, and we'll see what it looks like after, if in January they're not returned, right? But again, please be aware that communication is happening at all levels. And if you need to reach out to your council members, whether it's Luke, whether it's Valerie, whether it's myself, Danielle, on it, if you've been reaching out to any of them, the information hasn't gotten to me personally, that you had this data information and so on. So I will say, if you could please direct that information directly to me, I'd be happy to answer your questions and direct you. And once again, you also reach out to your council members in order to be able to, they should have been able to provide that information, because I know at least Councilor Woodall has been in those meetings. Our city manager has also been in those meetings, and so have I. But in saying that, those meetings are exclusively for mayors. They have been very specific, right? And I've been able to bring in like a council member, Mr. Kamali, at times. But I will say to you again, when you guys have a question, you have an opinion, right? Please reach out to your elected council members. I know plenty of us talk to quite a few people, so trust me when I said that other people call me and I have voiced out the concerns that they've had in those meetings. right? The concerns that the other council members have had as well, including every single one of them, because it's basically the same thing. We all want the fire career back. And that's been the message that's been sent over and over and over again. So when it comes to the opinion of the community, that's basically been the opinion of the community. They want the fire careers back. And that's the message that we've been sending back. But when in doubt, when it comes to any subject, please reach out to any of us in order for us to be able to answer those questions. And if we don't have the answer, we'll reach out to whoever it is and get back to you. I know the team is pretty good at getting back at on it, but when it comes to our elected officials at all levels, they are fully aware where we stand. And I also know they're concerned about making sure that the career firefighters are back. So there's not one of our elected officials about mayor and council, right, that does not want the career firefighters as well back. And they have expressed their opinion on that as well. So I will end it like there. Do we have anybody else that wishes to speak on public comment? Okay, Jared, is there anybody in Facebook that has a comment? Thank you so much. So just to reiterate it again, please reach out to the council members. I know we have ward council members that they could directly reach out to you, or you could reach out to them if you have any questions in order to make sure they're able to answer, or please reach out to me directly as well to be able to answer. If there's an item that you guys need more information about, we'll be happy to share. And like I said, we've been definitely having meetings that were worked on. So I will wrap it on that. I know time is up and we'll move on to the next item. So I'll be closing the public comment at this point, and we're going to move on to new business. So item number 7, vote on approval of minutes. The mayor and council will vote on approving the minutes for October 15, the work session, October 29 legislative meeting. So Melissa has been very good at providing the minutes at work sessions previously or legislative before we vote on it. So you guys have taken a look at those minutes. So no surprises there. So can I have a motion to approve the minutes for October 15 work session and October 29 legislative meeting?
So moved.
So it's probably being moved.
Second.
It's probably moved and second. Any discussion? Objections, abstentions? Hearing none. Melissa, those minutes have been voted on it unanimously. Now we're moving on to presentation of minutes. The city clerk will present the following minutes to mayor and council for November 19 work session. They were part of your package. Please review them. And in the next meeting, they'll be up for approval. Reach out to Melissa if you have any questions, or our city manager. Reach out to Melissa and make sure you copy the city manager to make sure we're all on the same page when it comes to any minutes. And for the community members, if you go to the City of Rainier, md.org page, you will not only find the agendas, the minutes, approved minutes, the video link with timing on it in order to make sure that you could follow through on discussion, approval, and everything else that follows through. And I know there was a lot of questions regarding projects coming through for the city. There's actually a page dedicated to all the different projects, the source funding, where they're at, where they're completed, and so on and so on. All in our webpage as well. That's something that we decided to add to make sure we follow through in making sure we inform the community. So a lot of that information is there as well. All right, so in saying that, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been probably moved and second. Any discussion? Objection, attentions? Hearing none. I will adjourn this meeting. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, staff. Mr. Kamali, I hope you start feeling better with your shoulder.
Yeah, Mr. Kamali. Feel better soon, and thank you for all the work that you do for us and the whole entire team. Okay?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Thank you, Luke.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. You guys have a good night.
Bye.
Have a good
Okay,
night.
bye everyone. Take care.
Bye.